humbles himself will be exalted. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
This morning, I want to tell you a story. Maxie Dunham, a famous preacher that in Methodism, tells this story, and I'm going to tell it a little bit different, but it's contributed to his story. It's one where two football coaches were very, very good friends. I think they had coached together earlier on, but now they were rivals, and they were teaching at very prominent universities, one in Alabama and the other one in Tennessee. And so they were battling back and forth, and their records were kind of similar. That's why they called it a rivalry, I guess. You never knew who was going to win that particular game each year. But the Tennessee coach was blessed and given some really fine material. It was a whole bolt. A bolt is material that's wrapped over something about that long, and so it's a lot of yards of material. And so he was given this very expensive material, and he put it in his trunk, and one day he saw a tailor shop there in Tennessee, and he went, and he asked the tailor, he said, what can you do with this material? It's very expensive material. I want to get the most that I can possibly get out of it. And he said, oh, sir, I can do great things with this material. It'll be beautiful, but probably all that I'm going to be able to do is to give you a really good sports coat out of it. And he thought, goodness, this is a lot of material. Why will they not be able to give me but just a sports coat out of it? So he said, well, I'm going to have to think about that. So he put the material in his trunk, and he was going on vacation. And his friend called him, told him to stop by Tuscaloosa, and it was Bear Bryant. He said, stop by Tuscaloosa, and I want to show you around town. We haven't been able to visit in a while. And so they're buddies, and they were walking around town, and he said, this is where I have my suits made. And it reminded the coach from Tennessee that he had that material. And so he goes from his trunk, he gets the material out, brings it in, and asks the tailor there, Bear Bryant's tailor, says, sir, what could you do for me with this material? Oh, sir, I can make you one of the finest suits that you've ever had. I can make you a suit, and if you'd like to, I can make you a nice little vest for it. And while we're at it, we want to utilize all this material, so I'm pretty sure that I can make you an extra sport coat to go along with all this. He thought about it, and he says, I just don't understand these. Now, this is the same amount of material that I had in Tennessee. Now, why in the world am I going to get so much here that I couldn't get back in Tennessee? Oh, that's easily explained, sir. You're a lot bigger in Tennessee. You're not much down here. That's exhausting. Some people think very highly of themselves. That Pharisee was kind of like that, wasn't he? That Pharisee thought real highly of himself, and he made the first mistake, and that's what Jesus was trying to teach us. And the main thing he's trying to teach us about is grace. I had a good conversation this week with a brother of mine, and we talked about some things, and I'm hoping that maybe this might clear some things up in our minds. I know it's cleared some things up in my mind since that conversation. But maybe at the end we'll hear that, and we'll know. A lot of people have been talking about judgment. And our Sunday school class has done a great job of presenting that in a way that helps us to really challenge ourselves to look about grace and judgment and how we deal with very tough issues in our lives. We don't always compare ourselves like we should, do we? The Pharisee, he was, filled with a lot of, arrogance. He was filled with a lot of arrogance, and he was willing to compare himself to anybody around him. Because you see, he thought that the most important thing about his life was that he kept all the rules. And he was a good rule keeper. You make those people, haven't you? You know, they know all the details about rules, and they can keep those rules real well. But when it comes to understanding what those rules are there for, sometimes they miss it, and it causes them to take actions that they really are hypocritical about if they don't understand grace, if they don't understand God. You see, that was the first thing that we've got to realize, is that when you start comparing yourself to other people, it makes you look pretty good. That's a trap that we fall into. Well, I can point right over here now. I'm a little better than him, or I'm a little better than her. You know, so now I feel good and confident that maybe I'm a pretty good person. I keep all the rules. I tithe and I fast and tithe a tenth of my salary. So I'm pretty good. You should really applaud me today for that, for being so good. But what they realized is that the Pharisee was comparing himself to the wrong people. Look what happens when he compared himself to God. Now this is when things go south for him. When he starts comparing himself to God, he realizes he doesn't measure up so well, does he? The one that compared himself to God was not the Pharisee. The one that compared himself to God was the tax collector. Now this tax collector was by nature and by, I guess, stereotype, most people knew that they were corrupt. They usually got to where they are because they were corrupt. They had washed hands with somebody or helped somebody, and the deal had gone pretty good in their favor, and so now they're commanding something to where that they can get rich. What they were doing was they were gathering the taxes for the government, for the Roman government, and they were not being very fair to the people that they were collecting it from. And they would charge them more so that the extra would go into their pockets. And that was a very ruthless thing to do. They were doing this quite often to everyone. And you couldn't do anything about it. You see, because the government didn't care as long as they got what they wanted. So they were getting what the government wanted, but then they were getting excess, and they were taking bribes to look the other way about things, and they were threatening and holding people hostage and saying, "Look, I'll ruin you. I'll ruin you, and I'll destroy your business, and you won't have anything. So you better pay me the extra that I want right now." That's hard to see that happens, but it did, and it happens today. We have people that don't care about humanity. They don't care about others in their life. They just want what they want, and they just want to get what they can get. And so this man had stood before God there at the temple, and he realized that he was comparing himself to God. And he realized just how glorious God was. He realized just how strong that God was. But I have to believe, now this is just me thinking, I have to believe that when this man began to compare himself to God, he began to see God's love. He began to see God's grace. He saw just how wonderful that God really was. And so the shame came upon him. He began to beat his breast. He bowed his head. He was so ashamed of himself. He was so ashamed of all that he had done, all that he had caused suffering for others. He had caused himself, because see, he connected with God in some way. You see, there has to be a connection with God's grace. There has to be a connection with the goodness and the love of God before we will ever condemn ourselves, confess. And this man died. This man understood that God, from the very beginning, wants to bless people. That God wants to bless people, and God wants to offer His grace. He's not about trying to beat us down. He's not about trying to cheat us. He's not about trying to restrict us. God is trying to lavish His love upon us. He's trying to lavish this blessing so that we can prosper and be good, so that others others can look and see God's love in our lives. It's so that we can testify to that. When we become legalistic and we look at judging somebody like us, we begin to point out their flaws. We begin to think that we're as good as anybody, and so we should be able to get away with whatever we want to get away with. And we're only deceiving ourselves. This man beat his breast, and the tax collector, and humility came upon him. Humility to such a degree that he realized that he was wrong. And he had a repentant heart. He knew that he had to change. And so he cried out. He cried out for the one thing that he knew when he connected with God. When he began to look at God, he realized that God was a God of mercy. And so he cried out for mercy. He cried out for mercy in a way that said, I believe that I am so wrong, but I know that the only thing that can change me is you. The only thing that can change me is you. We even look up to the heavens. That is humility. That's humility, and that is a repentant heart. Bows down to God. Says, I'm wrong, my brothers and sisters. I'm wrong, and I want to be different. And I don't want to compare myself to another man again. I don't want to compare myself to another woman again. I don't want to be caught into that competition where I lose, even if I win. You see that the one person that the Pharisee was in competition with that he couldn't see, he couldn't understand because he didn't know God. You see, there's the rub, there's the whole bottom line. He didn't know God. He didn't know God's love. He didn't know God's love, and he didn't know God's intent. He didn't know God's love and intent, and he did not know God's mercy. And without that, he could not know God's grace. You see, God wants more than anything to give us mercy. Give us mercy poured out on us. He wants to give us that mercy, and he wants to bless us, and then he wants to offer us grace. Justifying grace. You see, justification comes when we bow down to Jesus as our Savior. The Bible now teaches us that in the New Testament, the only way to the Heavenly Father is through His Son, Jesus Christ. There's no other way. I'm sorry, you're not going to get there by following the rules. You're not going to get there by being good. You're not going to get there by comparing yourself to other people. The only way, the Bible says, it's clear. There's no loopholes there. There's no alternate languages. It only says it clearly. The only way to the Heavenly Father, that is God, is through the Son, Jesus Christ. And if you believe that, then you're on your way. And whether you fall today and continue to walk in that sin, whether the sin has got a hold on you so strong that you don't know how to get rid of it, if you will daily humble yourself before God, it's called sanctification. It will eventually wash the warts off of you, okay? It doesn't matter how bad you have been stained. All the stain will be washed clean, and it will be washed clean because of not what you do, not by the washing of yourself and your physical nature, but it will be washed clean by the blood of Jesus, where He gave that blood freely on the cross of Calvary. Can I get an amen? Amen. Hallelujah. Yes. This is good, people. This is good. It gives us hope. It gives us hope in our lives, no matter what is keeping us in bondage. It gives us hope that no matter how we have failed our God, that we know this God has mercy on us, and it doesn't matter what we come to Him with today. He will forgive us, and He will be just to, because His Son paid the price of Calvary by His blood. Amen. It is an atonement that we can't do today with vengeance. It's an atonement that we can't do with turtle dust. It's an atonement that we cannot do with a heifer. It's an atonement that we cannot do by the firstborn from the one and only Lamb of God. It is grace. It's an unbridled, unrestricted grace. A grace that you cannot possess and control. You can only receive it and let it transform you. It is a grace that is given freely because the price has already been paid. You can't steal it. You can't earn it. You can't bribe your way into it. You can't mistakenly stumble into it. You have to receive it from the heart of the one that loves you the most, that offers you not only mercy, but this redemptive grace that transforms you. I want to tell this one story and I'm going to shut up. It's a wonderful story. It had a long time to get to the grace. There was a little girl that she was adopted, and she was adopted into a home, and she was so glad to be a child of that home, of those parents. But you know, they didn't treat her right. I'm not going to get into all the details, but it's a true story. Her family would go to Disney World. And every year that they would go to Disney World, this adopted child would be left home, and they would take their biological children with them to Disney World. And they had a good time, and the kids would come back talking about it, and the little girl that was adopted would just feel so lost. And she was just robbed of being part of that family. And finally she started getting into trouble, and she didn't act right at home, and finally they gave her back to the setting, and she went back into the system. But there was this family that adopted her again. And she was excited to be adopted again. She got the second chance to adopt. And they thought, well, we need to welcome this girl into the family, and it'll be great. We'll all go to Disney World. They didn't know the circumstances. They didn't know what had happened before. And so they told her, said, sweetheart, we're going to take you to Disney World. We're going to Disney World. And she thought about it for a minute, and then she left. She went and hid into her room. And for the next few weeks, she was a troubled child. She didn't cooperate. She wouldn't do her schoolwork. She was not obedient. She wouldn't follow the rules. She was giving them every reason to leave her home when they went on the trip to Disney World. They didn't know what to do. The time came, and they went to Disney World, and they took her, and they were there as a family, and they got up early, and they went late to the parks were closed, and they experienced everything that Disney had to offer, and they were exhausted, and they were in the Word that night. They were laying on the bed, and the dad went to the little girl and says, well, how do you like Disney World?